In this video, we'll review some encounters where uninformed police officers thought they were above the law and could do whatever they wanted. We'll see instances ranging from a female supervisor threatening a man with arrest for refusing to show his ID to another female officer attempting to search a man's van without a warrant. Let's get straight into the video. Can you believe there was a cop who got annoyed because a woman he was harassing on the street asked him for a complaint form? Well, let's take a look and see exactly what went down with this woman. Instead of just explaining how she could file a complaint and handing her the form, the cop decided to call for backup. When the backup cop showed up, he wasn't even clued in on what the woman had initially asked for. But he seemed to get all bent out of shape because she was recording him, and he asked her why. I mean, she does have the right to record, doesn't she? And then he tried to intimidate her by saying he was recording too, probably thinking she'd get scared and stop filming him or just leave. But nope, this woman was actually glad they had their body cams on. When she asked this second cop for the form to file a complaint, he looked totally lost. This woman was already ticked off because she had been waiting for over 50 minutes just to get some basic form, so she asked for a supervisor. But this cop said he couldn't call any supervisor since none were around. It didn't stop there. When she asked for his name and badge number, he claimed he didn't have to tell her. Sounds like someone skipped the day that went over the department's policies. How did this guy even become a cop?
Hello. They didn't tell you what I needed?
They said you wouldn't tell them what you needed.
No, I specifically told them I needed an officer complaint form, an officer to tell me how to go about that process, and 2 FOIA request forms. They've had me waiting here for like 10 minutes and said that you...
I was in the middle of a test.
Well, I get that, but they didn't even tell you what I was here for.
Is there a reason why you're recording me?
Yeah, to document my business.
Okay, well, I'm recording you also.
I see that. Sir, you're supposed to. I love that you have a body cam on. Are you kidding me? I think every one of you guys need
What
one.
do you need again? I'm sorry.
2 FOIA request forms.
Two what?
2 Freedom of Information Act forms, and then...
Get those from the county attorney's office. You won't get them from us.
Since when? You guys are supposed to... Have you read the FOIA laws?
The what?
You guys don't have Freedom of Information Act forms here?
Not that I'm aware of. The office is not open right now, and I'm not a clerk.
So, okay, and what about an officer complaint form?
I don't do those either. You'll have to contact a supervisor.
Well, then why didn't they send me a supervisor?
Because there is no supervisor out right now.
Well, you guys don't have a form for officer complaints that you can hand me. Oh, that's public record. What's your name, sir? What's your name?
I don't have to tell you.
So are you trying to...
But this cop was dead set on getting this woman to leave, yet she wasn't going anywhere because she knew her rights and how to stand up for herself. But the cop didn't back down. He whipped out his personal phone to record her, as if his body camera wasn't already doing that. The woman tried to educate him, telling him as a public servant his job was to introduce himself, but he wouldn't have any of it. He even played dumb, acting like he couldn't grasp what she was asking for, as if getting a complaint form was some form of complex puzzle. He also made up some rules that she had to give her name if she wanted to complain, which is totally not true. Anyone can file a complaint without having to reveal who they are. That's the whole point of having constitutional rights, isn't it?
You're trying to intimidate me when I'm trying to file an officer complaint.
I'm just recording you.
Are you trying to intimidate me while I'm trying to file an officer
I really
complaint?
don't know where those forms are. I have
Well,
no
go
idea.
find them. Where's your boss? What is your name, sir? I need you to identify. I can't see a name on there.
That's because there's not a name on there.
You understand that now your personal cell phone is going to be
It is
FOIA
anyway because the
requested.
county pays for it.
Oh, well, great. Great.
But that also
So,
means
but
there's
you know, no, you need to understand. No,
Yeah.
I didn't commit a crime.
I haven't either.
It's a Freedom of Information Act. You're a public servant, right?
What are we? Who are we complaining on? I don't even understand.
I want a freaking complaint form, sir,
You need
and
to
I
lower your
expect you.
demeanor
Why?
because
Why?
I'm not doing anything to you.
No, you're recording me while I'm trying to. No,
I'll
no,
turn mine
no.
off.
You are recording me. Listen to me so I can tell you my problem. You asked, I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to turn in an officer complaint form and get the form to fill out and find out the process. And instead of telling me how to do it,
I don't know.
you got no. Listen. Instead of telling me how to do it, you're just or whoever I was talking to, they were all asking questions, trying to find out information. Wait, and then also you, instead of just telling me the information I need to know, you bust out your cell phone trying to record somebody that might be wanting to file an anonymous complaint. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If I'm complaining on an officer, you don't need to be sitting there recording me like that. You already have a body cam. You're just doing it to intimidate me. You know what? You know what? Sir, I need my FOIA request. Good, I've been waiting. You came out here to, what was your name? I've asked you your name. Yeah, I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to. Don't you understand that? The law allows me to. I have constitutional rights.
outstanding.
Well, what's your name, sir?
I'm gonna see if I
Are you a representative of this sheriff's office and you won't even tell me your name and you don't even have your name on here?
I'm not required to have my name on here, but my
You
last
won't
name
even-
is Peck.
Peg? How do I...
P-E-C-K.
P-E-C-K? Thank you. Please get my forms, though, instead of trying to argue with me and make me upset. That's terrible. I actually need 2 officer complaint forms. Thank you.
This cop couldn't handle being outsmarted by the woman any longer, so he just spun around and walked off, saying he was off to get her the complaint form. But the woman wasn't about to let him off the hook that easily. She even asked for another complaint form because, thanks to his attitude and lack of professionalism, she now had a reason to file a complaint against him too. Then along came a third cop, wondering why this woman was hanging around outside the police station. She explained yet again she was waiting for her complaint forms. And then, believe it or not, a fourth cop showed up. All 4 of them were acting like they were dealing with some big-time criminal, not just someone waiting for some forms. Instead of just one of them handing over the forms and telling her what she needed to know, all 4 ended up wasting her time. Cops really ought to remember they were supposed to be public servants and actually do their job, not just dodge their responsibilities like this. Nobody wants police officers who act like that, especially not the folks whose taxes are paying for them to be there in the first place.
What do you need? What do you need?
What you're saying here.
Yeah, I'm trying to... What I came here for, but what was your name, sir? Before I tell you my business. Sorry, what?
Hampton would be mentioned.
Hampton? Okay, so I came here and pressed the button and stuff, trying to get my FOIA request forms and my complaints. And then the guy that came out, Officer Peck, or Deputy Peck, after several minutes, he was being a jerk. And instead of, I was asking about the officer complaint process and what I need to do, and instead of like getting the papers like I had originally requested at dispatch on the button, which he already should have known, he starts recording me with his cell phone. I knew he had body cam, but he took his cell phone out trying to intimidate me out of the complaint. That's the problem. But I wanted one of their deputies, which you don't even work here. You do, right? But to explain the complaint process to me and what I need to do, because I noticed that it says notary. Do I have to have that notarized by my bank, by somebody here? Any of that he wouldn't tell me. And I also, they never gave me the Freedom of Information Act form either. I don't know why they called you here when all I needed was an officer complaint. But do you understand the problem with that? I shouldn't have all of you guys coming up to me. And you're speaking on behalf of the sheriff's office, right?
I mean, he can tell you that.
I just want to make sure. I've been told things, and then they say, well, you know, it just kicked around the bush. I don't know why I have 2 officers here instead of just the one guy. Give me the damn complaint, tell me what to do, and let me go about my business. And then because I was recording, he chose to start recording me trying to intimidate me out of my complaint. I have every right to document my business, right? Especially my business with law enforcement. That's been ruled on. We all know that, right?
Anyway,
What do you mean, whatever? You're rude.
Deputy Peck.
What do you mean, whatever? Is that how you speak to the citizens, dude? Are you serious? I wasn't rude to you at all.
The third cop just shrugged off the woman with a whatever and looked totally uninterested. Funny, considering he was the one who walked up to her. Seriously, nobody should be getting an attitude with people they're supposed to help. These 2 cops also seemed to forget they were supposed to introduce themselves when they started talking to someone. But finally, one of them managed to muster up enough willpower to show the woman how to fill out the complaint form. Was it really that tough? It doesn't seem like it should be, but for cops who are more about flexing their power than actually serving the public, it must feel like a huge ask. It feels like officers like these take any challenge to their authority way too personally. What's your take on this?
Was I?
I'm not being rude.
You are.
What I was doing is
You know what?
Deputy Peck gave you all that. So our dispatch center, who's right in there, called me to come over here and see if you needed anything else.
No, I asked them for a different officer because Deputy Pecker didn't want to give me the correct info. Deputy Pecker didn't even want to identify it first. I don't know why you guys, none of you, is that normal in Kentucky that you guys don't wear badges? Or your name badges?
Yeah, we normally do, but we all wear overvests, so we just have name tags.
Oh, on those? Is it a requirement in this state for you guys to identify the public when you engage them? If they request? Identify yourself. When I say, hey, what's your name? You tell me whatever, Hampton. You know what I mean? Because he refused to at first. So I didn't even know who I was talking to from your sheriff's office. Then he was being a big jerk, taking his phone out, recording me, when I could have wanted to file. What? Yeah, that's what I wanted from him. That's all I wanted. That's what I asked for. I'm not going on your hood. No, sir.
Then prop your hand up here. He can tell you what part to fill out.
There you go, man.
All right. So you just start. You start here. This is for the office. This is what the office will do. You just start here. Fill out what your complaint is. Your narrative of what your complaint is. The notary, like you said,
Now, by law, do they have to have notary here?
and then I don't know by law, but I mean,
Oh.
if you want it to be formal, I think it's probably a good idea to go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And then your information. And this is for the office as well, back here on the findings of the complaint.
The woman needed just one more thing. She wanted to make a simple request form, but the cops acted like they had never heard of such a thing. Talk about being uninformed. These officers, with their bruised egos, were scrambling to regain some dignity, so they pulled out this idea that she had to show up within a specific time frame to file her complaint. It's like they were trying so hard to make up some rules just to feel like they had the upper hand. The lady, though, wasn't having any of it. She had no real obligation to follow their made-up timetable, yet these cops were acting like they could just invent rules to get the last word. But the lady stood her ground. She even challenged them by asking what if she couldn't make their set time because of work. Predictably, the cops were left speechless and didn't have a comeback.
Same here.
So they will notify me of their findings, like whether it was just nothing or something.
If you ask them to, they probably will.
Oh, excellent. See, and what was your name, sir?
David Green.
Green.
Color, yeah.
Now, are they going to give me my FOIA forms, or do you guys not offer them, or what's the deal with that? Freedom of Information Act, the forms.
Okay, what forms? What
Free-
forms are you needing?
I need the request form so I can request information. You guys don't have
Like an open records
like a
request?
public records, freedom of
Yeah,
information.
you
You've
have
ever
to
heard
do
of
that
it?
Monday through Friday.
We can I come here today since I'm already here doing my business?
The office ladies have to do it Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Okay.
Do it then.
And who can I turn them into? I have to come Monday through Friday? What if I work those exact hours? I have to take off work?
Then you should probably have somebody else come do it for you.
Can they do that? If it's something regarding maybe, say, a specific case for me, you know how they have to redact, I see that smile. You know how they have to redact the information, like personal info? Then if I send, say, my sister, they would end up having to take out the information I may or may not have needed.
So then you should probably, if you work those exact hours, you should probably take a couple hours off if you really want it that bad.
That's crazy. And do they have a law for that? Like the specific hours I have to turn in or receive the forms?
Specific law.
Yeah, do you guys have a law? Because you guys have your Freedom of Information Act, you guys have your Kentucky State, whatever. Does it state that it has to be between the hours of 8 and 4:30 or whatever, Monday through Friday?
That's just who has access to it. We don't have
So you
access.
guys, you don't just simply have access to a form that should be readily available.
We don't, no, the deputies do not. No.
That's crazy. Who can I talk to about, like, who should I call and talk to on Monday, like, regarding that? Your sheriff or who?
You can come up here and talk to the ladies in the front office.
Well, I will not be here then, luckily for you. But so can I call and speak to who, your sheriff, or do you have like somebody that oversees the records department or whoever makes that rule?
Ladies in front,
I don't understand why.
You can come up here Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30.
Really, and I can't get a complete.
Seeing that these officers were just making up rules, the woman asked for the phone number of their boss or supervisor or anyone who actually knew the law. She also told them about her earlier attempt to enter the public area of the police station only to be turned away and insulted by another unfriendly cop. Realizing this woman had recorded everything, the officers understood they couldn't push her around too much without making themselves and their department look bad. Suddenly, they switched to being super nice, showing her exactly where in the police station she could find the counter to pick up any form she needed and where to go.
Well, originally I couldn't get a complaint. He wouldn't let me get the complaint form at first. He said I had to come back. I said, well, if he's out there doing some fucked up shit at 3 in the morning on a traffic stop on a Saturday, then that shit needs to be addressed. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he did, but, you know, that happens. Yeah, well, you might just do something bad enough that it needs to be addressed. You know, it's not just a whatever, like the way you talk to me, you could be doing something bad. Well, just officers in general. Does that make sense? Now, does the jail have their FOIA request forms available? Because I will be going to ask.
That's a different agency.
Well, so is he, but you guys sent the police here when you guys got guns yourself.
What's that have to do with the jail?
I'm just confused as to why.
Well, the jail's over here.
Uh-huh.
You can go talk to them about their forms.
Excellent. And I'm not going to be harassed by other people.
That's a totally different entity.
Because now that he's here, I would understand why they called you. They told me I requested a different deputy, but because he's here, I don't get why he has any reign over this. But did somebody call the police on me? Did they request assistance?
We're just about your phone, and you were still here and wanted me to handle it because obviously Becker couldn't handle it for you. Correct? That's what you called him, right? That's hilarious. I think that's great. Yeah. I think that's great.
He called him Pecker too.
So yeah, obviously if he couldn't handle it for you, maybe they were thinking I can handle your problem. But obviously Green and I have handled you today, and are they open right there? Or does she have to go over here to the side?
It may be a better idea.
I tried to go in the back, and then some mean guy came up and yelled at me.
Right here. I'll show you. That door right there, you see that little push button?
Uh-huh.
Just push that, tell them what you're here for,
All right.
and they'll send somebody out here for you.
Now, and is that detention center, is that the same as the jail, or are those two separate things?
Get
Is
all
that,
next together.
do you guys have a juvenile detention in this county? No? All right. Thank you.
This time around, two newbie cops, a male and female officer, thought they were above the law and decided to just walk into this man's building. But the man was quick to tell them to step outside since they didn't have any business being indoors. He'd come out to chat with them. Luckily, these rookie cops knew they had to introduce themselves when asked since they were in uniform. The man even recognized the male cop from before. The cop remembered him too, even checking in on how he was doing. However, the female officer was there to hand the man a CPW, or criminal procedure warning, because she thought his filming activities were negatively affecting the local community. But really, she was just following her boss's order to deliver these papers to the man. Vervalde was thinking she could barge into the man's building without a warrant, when all she needed to do was hand over the papers. When it comes down to it, doesn't everyone have the right to freedom of press? It's not just journalists. Anybody should be able to record whatever they see in public.
Yeah, get outside, please, Dave.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll come outside.
I told you to get outside anyway, like, you've no business being in my building. Who are you then?
So I'm PC Preston Fisher. I'm sitting
Station.
before the cameras on.
Station.
From Bridewell Police Station.
PC, why?
I've met you before, haven't I?
We have,
Yeah.
How you doing?
You could be, yeah. I'm alright, yeah.
Long time.
So you're gonna, what is that?
So what I've got for you now.
So is that, you're attempting to issue me a CPW?
Yes.
Just
yeah.
bear in mind, that, were you with this gentleman when we interacted in town?
I'm not sure which time you're.
Do you remember the time?
I've met you before, yeah.
Was it to do with the litter warden?
This is in relation to. That was quite a few months ago, wasn't it?
But I'm just asking, is that the time that you and I interacted when you were with this gentleman here?
I'm pretty interacted with you then.
Because you're literally both on my channel, telling me, informing me that. Anyway, I'm not willing. Just for the record, I'm not willing to listen to you. I'm not willing to accept that piece of paper.
Okay.
I don't consent at all. Okay, it's illegal. It's unwarranted. If you bear with me 1 second, I'll go to my car and I'll get paperwork from the MPCC which explains that my conduct is allowed. Do you want to wait there 1 second? My car's just there. Just wait there 1 second, all right?
Fine, yeah.
Just stay there 1 second, all right? Here. Yeah, no, but I just want you to take that before you attempt, because although I appreciate that you're just here based on, or you've been told to come by your senior, right? But I need to inform you that it's not your senior that I'm going to raise the civil case against. It's going to be the person who's attempting to issue me with the paperwork. Now, although I genuinely appreciate that your superior has told you to come here, I'm protected by this. I'm also protected by my human rights. So before you attempt to breach my rights and find yourself on the end of a civil claim, which you 100% will, I would suggest that you just take a minute.
Okay, well, at the moment, in terms of this, so obviously you can make any complaint you want by going online or calling in, and you've got our collar numbers.
But you swore an attestation to uphold fundamental human rights, Constable.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, and one of my fundamental human rights is freedom of press, freedom of expression, the right to life. In fact, there's more than one, right? I'm allowed to do what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm protected. There's hundreds of thousands of hours of video footage online of people doing exactly the same as what I've had this with you before. I've raised it with you before. I don't understand how hundreds of others can do the same thing as I, but only I get the CPW. So,
It should not be like that.
but it
I
is
can
like
say-
no, but it is like.
The man was totally baffled about why he was getting a CBW when there's tons of video footage out there just like this. What's even the point of having constitutional laws if cops act like they don't matter? They're supposed to protect those rights after all. The female officer should have just said she was only following orders and didn't personally have anything against him, but instead she acted like him getting his CPW was a must. The man straight up asked her if he'd actually broken any laws. She didn't have an answer. Maybe that silence was her realizing she might be in the wrong. Since she wouldn't give him straight answers to his simple questions, he ended up just slamming the door and walking away. Not everyone's got time to waste like some cops seem to.
Because why am I being issued a CPW? Like I could,
give me a second,
yeah, but
what I'll do is
let me just show you something. Let me show you something.
Well, what I'll do quickly now is
Please don't read me that. Please don't read that to me.
I have
No.
to
I'm going to go in then. I'm willing to have a conversation with you, but the moment you try to read that to me, I'm going to be leaving, okay? And you've already read the sign on my door, which removes your implied rights of access, okay? So you're already going to receive a letter from HNK for breaching my human rights. I removed your implied rights of access. I haven't broken the law. You're not trying to serve me with paperwork because I've broken the law. You're trying to serve me with paperwork because you don't like what I'm doing, which is not the right thing to do, okay? Listen, no. I am happy to have a conversation with you, but the moment you start trying to read me that, I'm going to close this door and go in. And I've told you now already, okay? I do not want you to ring my doorbell again, okay? When I close this door, if you attempt to contact me again, you've already caused me distress. You made me come down here without my religious headdress on. You're knocking on my door. You rang my door buzzer. You didn't wait for me to answer. You then just approached it. You came into my house and you knocked my door after reading the sign that has removed your implied rights of access. It specifically says on that sign that unless you are here for a criminal reason, for a criminal offence, you're not to knock my door. Now, are you here for a criminal offence? Please just answer yes or no. Are you here for a criminal offence? Are you here for a criminal? Are you here for a criminal offence? Are you here for a criminal offence? Have I committed a crime?
Well,
Have I committed a crime?
Well, because
Have I committed? Is it yes or no? Have I committed a crime? Answer me, yes or no. Have I broken the law?
Right,
Have I broken the law?
what was it?
I'm asking you a question and you're not answering. Listen, you're distressing me. Okay? I'm asking you a specific question. Give me a straight answer. Have I broken the law?
Well, at the moment,
Yes or no? Have I broken the law?
So you're not giving me a chance.
It's a yes or a no answer. Have I broken the law? Yes or no?
You're not giving me a chance.
You answer the question.
Okay, so what I'd like
The
to
answer is yes or no.
Is it
One of those.
based on recent reports
The answer
and
is
incidents,
the answer is yes or no.
It's deemed that you're behaving.
No, listen. No. You're reading the notice. I told you not to read the notice. I'm asking you a question. Have I broken the law? Have I broken the law for you to be here?
We've explained.
Have I broken the law for you to be here? I'm asking you a question. Broken the law.
Well, it's deemed that you're.
Answer me yes or no. Have I broken the law, irrespective of my behaviour? Have I broken the law? Have I broken?
Social behaviour.
Have I broken the law? Have I?
Right, Wesley, I need to say.
Why do cops get uptight seeing citizens filming in public? You don't need to be a law expert to know that filming in a public space is everyone's right. Take this scenario, for instance. A cop sees a guy filming their police station and tries to get him to stop, claiming they're not cool with someone filming their building up close. The first thing this uninformed cop needs to brush up on is that he can't dictate where people can stand in public. The guy was on the sidewalk, where he had every right to be. Police officers are there to follow the law, not their likes or dislikes. Just because they're not fans of being filmed doesn't mean people have to ditch their rights. Realizing you might have been overstepping the line and not wanting to get caught on camera looking bad, the cop suggests the guy could just film across the street. But here's the kicker. The cop should stick to the actual law and not make up rules. If there's no law against filming, then the cop doesn't have the right to stop it. It's as simple as that.
Alright, is there anything I can help you with?
No, I'm just recording.
Recording?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a facility, like, that's a MTA, that's a MIPD facility.
I know exactly what
No,
this place
I
is.
understand you want to record, you can step on the close street recording. We don't like people.
You don't like people.
No, we cannot, you cannot record it.
I cannot?
Yeah. You
What
can
law
record
says
the
I
close
can't
street.
record here?
You can, if you want, you can record on the street from, you want to record the building close street. Now, I would like you to step on the other side.
Can I have your name and badge?
Yeah, okay, no problem.
What is it? Safely?
Officer Lane. Officer
Human?
Lane. Excuse me?
Your name and badge number?
Yeah, right here. That's 22025. So I would like you,
And what's your rank? You're an officer?
Officer Lin. All right.
May I speak to your sergeant, please? Because I have every right to be here. I don't know why you're telling me.
No, I know. You have the right to be here, but you don't have the right to record.
I have a right to record. That's the First Amendment right.
Listen, sir. You can record across the street. We have no problem with that.
I don't understand what you're trying to tell me.
So I'm telling you
just
that
here recording. This
you
is
can
not a
record.
crime. You understand that, right?
No, I understand.
Yeah, so
you
I
can
have every
record.
right to be here. This is public property.
Sir, I'm just giving you a warning. I'm not
But
trying
what's
to
the warning?
disrespect.
What are you warning me?
So
from
what I'm
doing?
telling you is,
It's
what
not
I'm
like I'm
telling you.
committing a crime. That's what I'm trying to
No,
understand.
but you are not allowed to record in.
But being not
NYPD
allowed to do something would mean that it's illegal. Are you saying that I'm not allowed, or is it illegal? Does the law prohibit it, or are you just saying I'm not allowed because you don't want me to?
Yeah, our regulation prohibits you recording.
Right, but what's
over
the actual
here.
code? The code in the penal.
The guy even asked to speak to a supervisor, but the cop acted like he didn't hear a word. Then another cop showed up and told the guy he couldn't film inside, which just made him look even more ridiculous. The thing is, the man wasn't even inside the police station, yet this cop insisted the man needed permission to film their building. He tried to justify it by saying they were just following their business policy, but their workplace policy doesn't apply to filming in public, and the policy definitely isn't the same as the law. It's pretty wild how careless the police can be, acting like they're not worried about losing their qualified immunity if someone decides to sue them for stomping on their constitutional rights.
In the penal code. Do you have a code? Can you cite the code for me?
So we were telling you, we're asking you to. Across you can record, but you are not allowed to record over here.
Are you an officer too?
What's going on, bro? How you doing?
I'm just recording here, and they're coming up to me saying that I
Yeah,
can't
because
record.
you know you can't record in the
No, I know I
precinct,
can.
bro.
The Supreme Court has said I can record
you know
anywhere
you
in
cannot
public.
record inside the precinct.
Sir,
you can't record
the
outside the
Supreme
precinct. This
Court
is a
has
police
ruled in
facility.
many-
You
it's
know
still
that
it's
already.
still public
You
property.
know that already.
I know it's public
You
property.
tell me what's public
All right.
about this. Everything
What's
here
public?
is a precinct.
Is this open to the
Everything
public?
here. Everything here is a
All you
precinct.
have to answer is this open to the public?
Do you have to file a police report?
Is this open to the
Do you have
public?
to file a police report?
Is this open to the public?
Do you have to file a police
I'm not
report?
answering any of your
Is there
questions.
something that
Is
we
this
can
open
help
to
you
the
with?
public?
Is there something that we can
you
help you
me
with?
by stopping
Okay.
infringing on my First
Sir,
Amendment right and
sir,
allow me to
listen
keep
me.
recording.
All right, even though you are in NYPD facility, you have to follow certain regulations.
I don't
so,
have to follow anything other
No,
than the
sir.
law, sir. The
Sir.
law says I can record in
sir,
public.
I would like you to step on the other side to record if you want to. Otherwise, you have to
Alright.
turn off your camera.
Are you speaking of policy? Is that what you're talking about? Your policy?
Yes.
Is policy law? Is policy law?
Policy,
It's a yes or no question.
But you have to follow our policy.
I don't have to
Once you
because I'm
stand
not a
on-
police
No, you
officer.
do.
No, I have to
You
follow
do.
the law
You have to
everywhere I
follow
go.
our own policy. You cannot
Is
even.
a sergeant coming out here? Hi, sir. Are you a sergeant?
No, you alright?
He's trying to tell me to stop recording. This is public property. You can let him know that I have every right to record here. It's really simple. I mean, it's not even an argument. I'm not a police officer, so your policy, I'm not covered by it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm covered by the law, the Constitution and the laws, the Penal Code of New York State. Not your policy. It doesn't apply to me. That's not the rules I follow. Second of all, law and the Constitution and Supreme Court decisions override any policy that you're speaking of. You took an oath to uphold the Constitution. The Supreme Court has said recording in public is perfectly legal and constitutional. So I don't understand why you'd be even telling me this. Thank you very much, sir.
Let's go.
Thank you. I just wanted some B-roll footage.
Let's get out here and let them out here.
Just recording, man.
Yeah, you can.
I'm just recording.
That's fine.
Thank you.
This time, a female officer saw a chance to puff up her ego when her colleague pulled a man over for no good reason, and the man wouldn't hand over his ID. She insisted he had to identify himself because they had made a legal stop, but cops can't just call every stop legal and demand an ID. They need a solid reason for stopping someone in the first place. Not happy with the man's reluctance, she told him to step out of the car so they could talk things outside. Why couldn't they keep chatting through the window like before? Well, it's clear this wasn't about the man and his ID at all, but more about the officer wanting to flex her authority. Turns out the whole reason they stopped him was that he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. At most, it's a ticketable offense, nothing more. He hadn't broken any laws, put anyone in any danger by not wearing his seatbelt, and wasn't speeding. So there is absolutely no basis for these cops to be asking for his ID.
Sorry, your name is Officer Fletcher with the Highway Patrol. What was your badge number?
So it's 18318. So I hear that you're refusing to provide identification. Officer Banks made a legal stop and you're required to provide it.
Okay. Can you provide that statute for me, please?
No. So are you going to provide ID?
That wasn't a legal request under the state law. That was not a mandatory thing.
Are you bleeding, ma'am?
No, I just got done working.
Yeah, with stain.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to step out of the car, please.
Ask me to step out of the car?
Yeah.
Okay, for what?
To continue the conversation.
Okay. All right.
So do you have ID on you or no?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And my only reason for not IDing was because, what was it, Thompson versus Reno states that is not necessarily a requirement.
Yeah.
That a seatbelt is not necessarily a requirement. I'm not harming anybody, so by law, I haven't broken any law. I'm not harming myself. I wasn't driving illegally or, you know, aggressively in any manner, and I'm sure you can definitely concur with that.
Yeah.
I made a legal turn. I turned on my blinker. I was going the speed limit.
Okay.
So the only issue that he has right now is that I wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
That's correct. Yeah. So he told me the same thing.
Okay.
As far as the reason for the stop.
Right.
And
I'm perfectly understanding that. I'm perfectly clear about that. I'm not arguing that.
Okay, great. Well, great. I'm glad we're on the same page about that.
Okay.
So I know that you have an understanding of what you said is Thompson versus Reno. I'm going to be honest, I'm not that familiar with it. I just know what our procedure and what our policies are, and when an officer makes a traffic stop,
A legal traffic stop. Yes.
You're required to provide identification.
Okay. Banks, one more time, let me get you to recite that seatbelt code, because I know we went over this the last time I saw it. 27315. And then it was E for passenger, right? Okay. And I also recited the same thing to you that day, that I wasn't going to give ID. I guarantee that was the reason why you stopped me today, was because you saw me actually operating a motor vehicle.
The reason I stopped you today because you
Was
were
the
wearing a
seatbelt.
Yes.
And I refused to give you ID the last time.
Then a male officer joined this female officer, and together they were trying even harder to get this man's ID. Ever notice how cops seem to team up to feel even more powerful and in charge? The kicker here is that the female officer was actually a supervisor. You have to wonder what kind of example she's setting for the cops under her watch acting like this. But she wasn't about to back down, so she asked for the man's name and date of birth. The man said he'd have no issue giving that info if it was required, but since it wasn't, he was choosing to stick to his rights under the Fourth Amendment. The supervisor then tried to argue that the man needed to identify himself because they didn't know who he was. But it's not like the cops need to have a personal introduction to every single person. Seeing she wasn't getting anywhere, she suddenly ramped things up and told the man to turn around because she was going to arrest him.
And so...
I'm just asking, are you his supervisor?
Yeah, for today, I am.
For
yes.
today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you fine with providing your name and...
Well, my only reason why I don't want to provide that information is because I know it goes through David, all your other data banks, all that stuff, and I really don't want that. I don't need the interaction with the police
So that
officers.
wasn't my question. Are you okay with providing your name and date of birth?
If I have a legal liability,
So-
or a legal mandatory need for that,
We're
then
telling
yes.
you it exists. We're telling you it exists.
Okay, can you state what law?
It's part of a traffic stop. If you get pulled over, you're required to provide identification. Thank you.
Okay,
I don't have the whole vehicle code memorized.
then do you also know what the detainment time is?
As long as it is necessary to, yeah.
It's at a reasonable time, yeah, within 20 minutes or less.
So you're prolonging this detention.
The only reason why I'm prolonging it is because it's not required. It's not
I
required.
get that you think that you are correct.
No.
We can, so here's
Look
what
up Thompson versus Reno, please, somebody. And if you're the highest that I can
I'm
get,
not looking anything up right now. I'm going to propose a solution, though. If you'd like. If you want to dispute the legality of the traffic stop, you can go before a magistrate.
I've already talked to your commissioner here. I've already talked to Tracy. I've already talked to the Bar Association also. I'm an attorney of fact. I know enough about the law that I know that this particular stop.
Do you know who he is?
I do not.
Okay. Does anybody here know who he is? Does Toby? need you
I
to
didn't
turn
even
around.
see you over there.
I'm gonna need you to turn around
Okay, under why?
because I said so.
You're not arresting me. I don't give consent.
Are you letting
for
me
that.
know that you're going to physically fight?
No, I'm telling you, I'm not legally consenting an illegal search or an illegal seizure.
Okay. So this is what I'm telling you. This has been a one-sided conversation where I've tried to explain and tried to come to some sort of middle ground with you, and you're refusing.
Oh, I'm not refusing.
We've asked for your identification. Officer Banks is legally, he's within all boundaries of requesting your identification, and you're refusing.
If she were a better cop, the female officer would know that you can't arrest someone for just obstructing police work, since it's considered a secondary offense. However, her plan didn't quite pan out. The man wasn't scared at all. He even figured out what was really happening. The officer who had stopped him had dealt with him before and had made a fuss about the ID and the fact that the man didn't want to identify himself back then as well. It looked like this cop was just trying to settle a score now that he was backed up by his colleagues, including the female supervisor, who was supporting him even though he wasn't in the right. The man decided to hand over his driver's license just to see what would happen next, confident that they wouldn't hurt him. He had recorded everything on video, so any further missteps by them could only get them into more trouble since they were messing with his constitutional rights. However, when he started to get back into his car to wait for his driver's license to be returned, the female officer decided to follow him to make sure he didn't run off. Really? How could he go anywhere if they still had his driver's license?
Not being placed under arrest.
So you're letting me know.
So
in
if
advance
it takes you running my name through David and an illegal arrest, then I guess that's what it's going to take.
I don't think anybody. You didn't have any intention of running his name, did you?
Why would you need my ID then?
So I can identify you.
And then to issue you a citation for not wearing your
A
seatbelt.
citation for a seatbelt that's not required, which we've already gone over.
So if that is the dispute and you don't want to
Okay.
sign, you don't have to sign the citation. You don't have to. That's fine. So the
Will it be going before Tracy or will it be going before David?
I don't know if Tracy, Mitri, or I don't know who traffic court is.
Because I don't deal with Witchery anymore, and the Bar Association already
Honestly,
knows
I
that.
have no idea who the traffic court person is today. I have no idea. So if you would like, if he can identify you, and then if you have an issue signing the citation, he can take you before the magistrate, and the magistrate can hear you out.
Today.
Today, yes. It is 3:41. We're still within business hours.
Do you have time?
So I feel like that's a very reasonable middle ground, and you can be heard by someone of a higher expertise that knows the statutes that you're referring to.
Well, because you're not going to look them up, and I'm trying to educate
We're
you
on the
on
side
what
of the
that.
road. No, I'm not going to look them up. I appreciate your attempt to be educating me, but I'm not.
You realize, like, I've told him too, I'm an auditor. You guys are going to be put all over YouTube for this anyway.
That's
So, I mean,
okay.
it doesn't matter either way.
Okay.
You know what? Banks, the only reason why you want to ID me was because I already have a video explaining to you that I didn't have to ID. And the only reason why you want to ID me is because of personal vendetta. But go for it. Do your thing. I'm working on it. Give me a second.
Okay, no rush. I'll just hang out.
You have my driver's license. Where am I gonna go, ma'am? I literally just bought this truck like
I
less
know
than a
I'm
week.
not making any accusations, sir. And I appreciate.
But having his driver's license wasn't enough for the cops, so they started asking for his insurance too. This was the last straw for the man, and he warned them not to push things further than they already had. He then urged them to wrap up whatever they needed to do so he could get on with his day because he had places to be. After all of this, he decided he would head over to their department building to file a complaint against these officers. If more people stood up like this man, these cops would probably be a lot better at doing their jobs properly.
I very much appreciate you providing your identification.
I know I have insurance. I'm not exactly sure where I have my insurance card at right at the moment.
Okay.
But you are welcome to run this.
Okay.
And you have my permission to run that and my name, and that's about all I need to provide right at the moment.
Yeah, that is correct.
Legally.
So sometimes registration, it's mixed up. Is your first name Christopher?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Can we make this quick, please? I got places to go.
Yep. I can see that he's moving as quickly as he can.
Perfect. Thank you. Can you ask Toby to come here for just a moment, please?
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. Officer Gutzler?
Actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and step out.
Okay, that's fine with me too.
Sir? How you been, man?
Time no see.
Fuck this same shit, different day. Work.
Still doing handyman stuff?
I'm still busy as fuck. I believe it. I guess, yeah. Got me all over the place. Everything from Sacramento to Visalia.
Wow. Good lord.
Getting ready to get that contractor's license. I'll have 30 employees by next year.
You have it or you're getting it?
I'm working on it.
Nice. Good for you.
So everything's in the works. Hopefully everything will be done by the end of the year.
Good for you.
How's the family?
Good.
That's good. That's good to hear. I was hoping to get to see your sergeant today.
No, you just get us
It's
today.
just not working, huh?
Just us, yeah. They give the sergeants days off every once in a
I
while.
know, I hear that. I don't get days off. I work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week.
I believe it. I believe it.
How's that captain liking that paint job in there? All that
He doesn't
drywall.
complain.
That's good.
For Commander, that's pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
How's business been, man? You staying busy?
Kinda.
Yeah.
Summer and winter when it snows is our busy time.
That's good.
So yeah, once everyone's coming up, the water's.
Paul was driving his van when a truck flashed its lights at him twice. Every driver knows that's a head up that police are ahead, so Paul was extra careful to follow the speed limit and abide by the laws. But it seemed like the cops were on a power trip that day, waiting by the road for the next opportunity to pull someone over. Sure enough, they stopped Paul. A female officer approached Paul and his wife and quickly drummed up a flimsy excuse about a minor light on top of the van being an issue. She didn't waste much time before demanding Paul's driver's license. Paul, caught off guard by the quick escalation, pulled out his license to hand it over. But then the officer started prying into what was inside the van, asking about its contents.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks. Deputy Fuqua at the White County Sheriff's Office. The reason I stopped is you have a little light out on the top of the van.
Oh, okay.
Do you have your driver's license, proof of insurance, registration?
Yeah.
What do you got in this van?
It's just it's like an RV that I converted.
I see. Out of Florida?
Yeah. I go all over the place in this guy.
All over the place in this guy?
Yeah. Well, I travel full time.
What do you do for work?
I have a YouTube channel.
You what?
I have a YouTube channel.
A YouTube channel?
Yeah.
What kind of YouTube channel?
It's about my travels and
making fun of cops?
No, not at all. There's both my registration and my.
The female officer didn't stop there. She wanted to know what Paul did for a living, if he lived in the van, and other personal details. Paul didn't have to answer, but he responded politely anyway, even sharing that he had a YouTube channel about his travels in the van. But her curiosity didn't end there. Now she pressed on about where he was coming from and where he was headed, seeming oblivious to the fact that people have constitutional rights to remain silent and that Paul was already being more than cooperative than required. Of course, that still wasn't enough for her, so she pushed things even further. She asked for Paul's wife's ID because she noticed that she wasn't wearing her seatbelt. It seems like she forgot the rule that police should primarily interact with drivers and not hassle the passengers.
Insurance.
So you live out of the van?
Yeah.
So where are you coming from today?
I'm coming from Nevada.
From
Austin.
Nevada?
Yeah.
From where at
Austin.
Nevada? Sorry,
Spencer's.
I couldn't hear.
Austin, Nevada.
Austin,
Yeah,
Nevada?
just outside. We went to Spencer Springs. Is right near there.
Okay. And where are you headed to tonight?
Boise.
Traveling with anything? Anybody else?
No,
Just by yourself?
Ellie.
Do you have your driver's license or an ID with you?
Yeah. Why do you need it?
Oh, I didn't see you wearing your seatbelt. Because if people aren't wearing their seatbelts, I normally ask you. If you wouldn't mind, it's no big deal if you do or if you don't. Normally, I ask you if you're not wearing your seatbelt. I couldn't see your seatbelt.
Oh, yeah. I have seatbelt on.
After the female officer collected the documents, she headed back to her patrol car to check the information with her colleagues. Basically, all three of them were just looking for any reason to pin something on Paul and his wife to assert their power. While Paul and his wife were waiting for her to come back, they chatted about how the officer mentioned she needed to consult with her colleagues on whether to issue Paul a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt. Paul was puzzled by this because there wasn't even a seatbelt on the driver's side of his van. Then another officer came up to the van, this time on the passenger side, and brought a police dog with him, ready to search the van. Paul and his wife were baffled by what was happening. The officer went on about how they were looking for people driving on the road that day. Sure, that might be something they do, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do, does it?
So what? Oh, light? Is that like a legal one?
I guess. I don't know.
Like those lights on the top of the...
Yeah. Yeah, all my regular lights work, but only like the marker lights.
Yeah, it's pretty excited.
Yeah, sure is. Well, this will be on YouTube too. Hope I don't get a seatbelt ticket. I don't even have a seatbelt. You'd be like,
This officer even got upset that the passenger side window wasn't rolled down, even though Paul told him that his window was open and the officer could easily come around to talk to him. But the officer chose to stay where he was, probably because he didn't want to seem like he was taking directions from just an ordinary guy. These actions really show what these cops are all about. Did you notice how they acted all friendly just to try to get their way? The confusion of Paul and his wife was further stirred when another officer asked if they had anything like marijuana or any other illegal stuff to declare. The biggest issue here was that these officers didn't have any warrant to back up this kind of search.
I mean, I bought the jump camera. I'm sorry?
No window?
No, I have a window right here.
Is this turned into a strobe light, like a sleeping quarters and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole house.
Right on. Hey, Deputy Woods, White County Sheriff's Office, I'm a canine handler, and we're out doing a criminal interdiction on the highway today, and I'm going to run my canine around the outside of your vehicle. Is there anything that you want to tell me about before I do that?
No, sir.
Is there any user amount of marijuana or anything like that? Because if you tell me prior to, we probably could show you some leniency, but if I run the dog and then we do our search and the whole 9 yards, it's not going to work out that way. So, is there a little user amount of marijuana in there?
There is no amount of marijuana in this.
No marijuana?
No.
Meth? Heroin? Cocaine?
No.
Bombs?
Despite already having collected some unnecessary information, these cops decided to push things even further. The officer by the passenger door, who had the police dog, suddenly made a big fuss about seeing Paul's gearbox in the van. He claimed it looked like a weapon to him. By now, it was pretty clear to Paul and his wife that these officers weren't going to let things go easily, even though Paul was just doing his best to stay calm and avoid escalating the situation. From what we know, Paul and his wife seem to be really decent people who try to steer clear of conflicts. But it seems like these officers are always looking for ways to stir things up when they should be trying to calm things down. While this officer was still circling the van with the dog without any warrant or permission, the female officer came back and handed Paul his documents, saying some of them had expired. This left Paul and his wife even more puzzled because Paul had just renewed his documents a few days before. How could they have expired so quickly?
Large amount of cash?
We're kind of boring.
There's nothing in this truck that is.
Is that your gear shifter?
Yeah.
What is that? Brass knuckles?
Well, it's just a gear shifter. It says made with love in North Dakota. I got this in my travels.
One of his friends made it.
Yeah.
Right on. Where are you guys coming from?
She already asked me all those questions.
Oh, I'm...
I don't see an expiration date on here. I see an effective date. Yeah. That was a few days ago.
So the expiration date isn't actually listed. It says effective.
Mm-hmm.
There's a date right there.
Yeah.
And then right below it, right here, it says, this card is invalid.
Then, out of the blue, the female officer spotted a blue light inside Paul's van and asked if she could go inside to check it out. What kind of question is that? Obviously, it would bother him. I mean, Paul has already been more cooperative than necessary, now they want to invade his privacy. But Paul didn't let that happen. However, she claimed she was just curious, as if her curiosity was good enough reason to change his mind. Who cares about her curiosity? How did she even jump from a small light on top of his van to asking if she could come in and poke around?
Wait, let's see. Keep your current card until the effective date of this card. Let's see, the other one said it was expired within a year on the bottom of the other one.
Okay, but
Well, let me see.
this one doesn't.
Not valid more than 1 year from effective date. See that on the bottom?
Yeah. Well,
So,
I have current. I do have current insurance.
Okay,
I maybe
you
just.
can pull it up on your phone too.
Well, my State Farm is like State Farm doesn't have all that online stuff, like
They don't have it?
Progressive and because I used to have Progressive and it was really easy.
I have it on mine. It's super easy, but his is like
State Farm just doesn't. I mean, I've had trouble getting into the app and yeah, because they have like private, offices that handle each region. It's kind of done old school,
Okay. Do you mind if I see inside there?
I kind of do. I'm sorry.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I mean.
Because I can see like there's like a blue light or something in there. I'm just curious.
Well, it's a whole house back there. It's the lighting system from my house. And,
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
The female officer then told Paul and his wife that after consulting with her colleagues, they could go on with their day. But she took this chance to explain that they had decided to stop everyone passing on the highway that day to check for drug smuggling. Wait, what happened to the light on top of his van? She seemed to have completely forgotten about the excuse she initially used to stop them. Then she switched topics and asked about Paul's YouTube channel, whether he had a partner in his videos. Paul showed her his YouTube channel, and just when you thought it had been all over, the officer took yet another shot at asking to look inside the van because that's what they wanted. I don't get why they think Paul was just there to do whatever they want. However, Paul continued to handle the situation like a gentleman, and this time politely declined, suggesting they could see the inside of his van on his YouTube channel if they were really interested.
So that's why I pulled you over is the light. Don't be offended. We're stopping just about everybody we can today for every violation. Like he said, we're out here working a criminal
I'm not offended. It's cool.
We're looking for...
You're working in what? Sorry.
It's called an interdiction, and we're looking for drugs.
Oh, okay.
Is what we're doing.
Okay.
So we're stopping a lot of people. I'm a canine handler too. We're running our dogs on just about every vehicle. So it's just the way it is. Okay.
Okay.
Let me double check with him, and then I think we'll be good to let you go.
There's 3 officers.
All right. Here's your driver's license and your registration back.
Okay.
So just so you do know, you have that one light out. Okay.
I'll take care of it. Actually, on board, I have new LED lights to go around the truck and tail lights and stuff too. So once we get to where we're going and I can have some downtime, I'm gonna be switching all that stuff out.
Okay. Well, so your YouTube channel, you have a lot of followers?
Yeah, pretty good amount. You want to check it out?
Let's check it out.
You can give the fella back there a card too if you'd like. It's just my name. If you look up the name on
Bread Trucker.
Yeah, because I live in a bread truck.
Is that what this used to be?
Yeah, it used to be a
then
bread
you
delivery
converted
truck.
it?
Yeah.
We really want to see inside. Come on.
You can see.
I get it. I mean, we're cops, but
Yeah. You seem cool, but I'm sorry.
we're out here just doing our job. We're cool.
I know. I know. But you can see all of it on my channel.
Okay.
There's plenty of,
Do you get good fuel mileage with this?
Yeah. Yeah,
Really?
totally. I get 14 miles to the gallon.
Are you kidding?
It's got a 4-cylinder turbo diesel in it. So that's the whole reason I bought this truck.
Seeing that Paul wasn't going to budge, the female officer switched tactics, trying to come off as the good cop at the end. She kept probing about whether Paul could feature her on this YouTube channel. Honestly, it seemed like she realized she might have been pushing too hard and that it might not look too good on a video. But even then, she couldn't help asking the woman in the passenger seat if she was Paul's wife or girlfriend. Some cops just don't know when to quit.
It's got a 4-cylinder turbo diesel. It's a Cummins. So, yeah, it gets great mileage. I mean, your truck probably gets close to 14, I would say.
I bet it doesn't even get that.
Yeah. So I think I'm doing pretty good.
I run it pretty hard though.
Yeah. I run I mean, when I drive this thing, it's not that fast, but pedal goes to the floor, every gear, you know. I can't even speed. The top speed is only 60 in this, so.
Well, then you can't ever get pulled over for speeding.
Yeah, well, when it cuts down to 25 in towns, that's when it can get away from me.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I'm a good driver.
And are you Paul's girlfriend, wife?
Girlfriend.
Girlfriend?
Yep.
Are you part of the YouTube channel too?
I am reluctantly.
You what?
I am reluctantly. Yep.
She's been.
I want to be on YouTube.
Well, you
I'm
might
sure
be.
You're probably
you might be.
Oh no! You turned it around on me, Paul. That's so mean.
Well, you know,
you don't need to put us on YouTube.
Yeah, well, you got a camera right there. You're recording me. The other guy. Well, I understand. I mean,
it's his job. It's his job too.
Yeah.
It protects me.
I feel the same way.
Because people say, "Hey, you did this," and I'm like, "I didn't do that."
Right. Well, not all police officers are as cool as you guys.
Say hi, YouTube.
So.
I don't want to be on YouTube. Paul, don't put me on YouTube.
Okay.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, that was kind of fun.
Let's talk about a female officer who walked up to a man and then asked him to move 6 feet away from her just for her safety. First off, she's the one who approached him, so why would he have to adjust his distance? Besides, it's actually her job to maintain a distance to make sure citizens don't feel threatened by an armed officer. And when will cops stop playing the victim? However, she claimed that she felt very threatened because the man had a glass in his hand. She made it sound like he was walking around with a piece of sharp glass, but really he just had a bottle. He pointed out that the officer who had approached him had no right to dictate where he could stand in public, but the officer disagreed. She argued that she has the authority to order him around because she wears a badge, which isn't really how it works. Just wearing a badge doesn't give the power to do whatever she wants. When the man questioned which law allowed her to do that, she couldn't answer, probably because she was making it up on the spot. As the man refused to comply with her baseless demands, she pulled her last trick, threatening to call more cops because he wasn't cooperating. Great, as if the man was about to run off because of that. The sooner this officer realizes she's not above the law and has no right to boss people around unless they're actually breaking the law, the better off everyone will be.
Sir, can you stay 6 feet, please?
Is that a law?
Yes, that is.
No, it's not.
I'm asking you to stay 6 feet away from me for my
You can
safety
ask.
and your
For your
safety.
safety, you can ask if you want, but
I am a
it's not
lawful
a law.
officer of Littleton.
What law? What penal code is that I have to stay 6 feet from you?
As a lawful contact that I'm making right now, I'm asking you to stay 6 feet away
You're
from me.
asking, but you're not. You can't demand that.
Well, as an officer, I can demand that.
No,
you need
can't.
to stay 6 feet
What
away
law is
from
that?
me.
It has to be a law to back that up. You can't just make your own laws up.
I am a representative of this park.
Okay.
And I'm asking you to both leash your dog and stay 6 feet away from me.
So there is a
also have
leash law.
glass
There is
here
a leash
today.
law, so I can understand the leash law.
Yes.
But you can't just make up laws telling me that I
I'm
can't
not
get close
making up
to you.
a law, sir.
I can
This
get close
is
to
a
you if I want.
standard lawful contact. You are not allowed to get close to me. If I'm asking
What
you to
penal
stay
code
6
is that?
feet away,
Can you tell me what penal code that is?
I don't know the one off the top of my head.
Okay, because it doesn't exist. That's why you don't
It
know
does exist, sir.
It doesn't. Show me.
So I'm going to go ahead and start calling police dispatch to come help me with this contact because you are not being compliant. Your dog is
I'm
now
gonna
hundreds
leave.
of feet away from you. You have glass in your hand. You're refusing to comply with me and not keeping 6
Because I don't
feet
have
away
to.
from
I
me.
don't have to keep 6
Yes,
feet
you
from
do,
you.
sir.
No, I don't.
So I'm leaving this contact. I'm going to my truck and calling police.
Okay.
Yep.